What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Mustard, back with another video, and today we're here to continue the retrospective series by reviewing Black Ops 3. It is insane to believe that this game came out 10 years ago. Oh my god, I remember when this game came out, we had a half a day at school. Yes guys, I am that old, Jesus Christ. I ain't old like that, but I am that old. Like, I remember coming home from school, or we had a half a day at school, and I didn't even go in because I wanted to play Black Ops 3. I got a head start before everybody, but man, it's been 10 years. And there's stuff I actually still do remember about this game. So let's go ahead and get on into it. And let's start off with the campaign. I gotta start off with the bad first, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So this campaign was very confusing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it didn't really make sense. I forgot what year this game really takes place in, but I do, from what I remember. Okay, I think you're some girl. I forgot what your name was. I ain't gonna hold y'all up, bro. Like, this is gonna be kind of a hard one because, like, I just remember the campaign was confusing. I do remember that, like, the villains was the 54th Immortals, and you were Taylor. That's who you were. Now I'm starting to remember. And you had, like, the DNI things, which pretty much you can look through people's, like, memories or something like that. So, you know, some stuff like that. It was like some advanced technology that I just really don't see happening. But pretty much the DNI thing that I was just talking to you guys about, like I said, it could look into memories and it could control people, like, once it got super bad enough. So pretty much the 54 Immortals, the villains, I guess, in the story, was necessarily, you know, they doing their bad guy shit. Come on, y'all know how it is, you know, trying to use the DNIs for evil and all that other stuff, and, you know, take over the world, you know, all that cool stuff. You can put down in the section below if you're just like, hey bro, you just straight up wrong, bro, because I'm gonna be real, y'all, this campaign was not the best, like, at all. Like, it is not a fan favorite campaign, and it shows. This game really takes a cake for everything else that it does. But anyways, I do remember that the DNI, you know, ends up becoming like a virus, and a virus ends up you know, affecting people's DNIs, and apparently it was, like, controlled by, like, an AI, which, you know, like I said before, it starts taking on, you know, it starts taking control of people, it starts taking control of your friends and all that stuff necessarily. And yeah, they start doing stuff that, you know, in the beginning, when they were starting to impact the world, they were necessarily now hurting the world because you were being, you know, controlled by an AI, which, believe it or not, as stupid as this story actually sounds, it sounds more credible today more than ever with how much, like, AI stuff is, like, being made and how far in advance they are in the AI, you know, in the real world. So it's just more or less like, it is kind of scary to think about. I mean, we ain't got the DNIs in our, you know, I think it was in, like, the back of their necks necessarily or whatever, but, like, whew, it's more or less to think about. You know, going forward with today's standard of things. But the one big thing that I really remembered from this campaign the most was, like, the stupid little frozen forest tree, which I think was Taylor's, you know, like, memory necessarily or whatever. Or I do remember that, like, at the end of the game you end up killing yourself. Actually, you're not even Taylor. Taylor's the bald dude. I forgot. He was one of you, and then, you know, when he betrayed you guys, necessarily, you guys are trying to figure out why. So I actually forgot who you are. That's crazy. Like, this is me trying to remember stuff, like, off the top of the dome, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I probably should have just looked it up at this point. Like, who cares? But, like, there was just a lot going on. So I remember Taylor kind of being the main villain actually now, because, you know, he got controlled by the virus AI or whatever, and then you had you and Hendrix, most likely. Hendrix is like your partner pretty much in the whole story. He was trying to stop you, but he ends up getting taken over by the virus. But his virus, you know, his stuff, I use the word lingered necessarily because like you saw like traces of the virus like taking him over, but you know he still tried to fight for good until, you know, towards the end of the game where you actually had to kill him and then kill yourself, and then next thing you know, you thought that you won in the end because the whole purpose was to stop the AI and stop the virus, and that's why you killed yourself. So in the end, you thought you would, you think you pretty much won by, you know, killing yourself and all that stuff. But I don't think you did. I think like the AI still won. You know, there's still people being controlled in the world, stuff like that. Guys, I don't know. Very confusing way to explain this campaign to y'all. I'm about as confused as the fucking game is. Like, I'm not gonna hold y'all up. Like, this campaign was confusing, it was stupid, and literally, this is the third Black Ops game, and we're coming off of like two of the very best campaigns from the Black Ops series, and then they gave us this campaign. Highly disappointing for this campaign was just disappointing. It's not rememberable, and I'm not gonna lie, for the people who actually do remember it, kudos on y'all. It's just not, it's not, you're not gonna put it in like a top 10 list of like best campaigns for Call of Duty. You might put the game in there, but I promise you this game ain't doing well because of the campaign. It's doing well because of everything else that had going on, you know, with everything being said. But y'all, I gotta get on ahead and move on to the next topic, which is zombies. Once again, I am saving multiplayer for last because there's so much to talk about for multiplayer necessarily. But even with this year's Call of Duty, with me, you know, making that transition to zombies is not as bad as, you know, as it was for Modern Warfare 3 zombies. Jesus Christ. Modern Warfare 3 zombies made me hate people. Like, legit made me hate people. That's how bad that zombies was. It made me hate the developers for making that zombies. But let's get on ahead and move on to zombies. Now, normally I give y'all a small intermission before I go into the next topic of games, but Jesus Christ, I had to get to the trash part of zombies first because let's be real, this shit was trash as well. So let's get on to zombies. Like I said, okay, on paper, right? You know, you'd be like, zombies campaign. You just like, we down for it. But what we got for this game, oh my God, what we got for this game. Nightmares. The zombies campaign. So pretty much like the whole world was plagued, you know, by zombies. I actually do remember the year now, guys. It was in like 2070 or something like that. So pretty much like you're this character and you're legit named player too. Like you're player. That's your name. Your name's player, bro. Like you don't get a name, cause like you don't. With this zombies, that I also will stress so much that they pretty much just use assets from the campaign. They didn't like they didn't make any new scenes or nothing like that. They just used everything that was happening in the campaign. I don't know if it was to save them money or if they was just like, I'm not about to do all, you know, no extra work. But to me, I feel like it's lazy. It's a little lazy for them to do that necessarily. So, you know, you are, you know, you and Hendrix, again, known as the Dead Killers, whatever. And you have, once again, your DNI, which I should have explained, you know, earlier in the video. It's called a direct neutral interface. You know, what I do now realize, you can connect to people's memories, but it's also like a computer now. See, this is all starting to make sense. The dome is starting to kick on after, you know, 10 years of me playing this game. And you're pretty much fighting, you know, crime. You might as well be some superheroes or something like that. You know, you might as well be Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Let me stop right there, y'all. Anyways, the population had been pretty much dead by 2050 because this is 5 years later. They start, you know, the year is 2070, but when you play this campaign, it's 5 years later. So about 7 billion people are dead, something like that. You know, just on a random number out there. I honestly might be right, but this zombies was very forgettable. The only thing that was like kind of cool about it was they brought in Nova 6, the Element 115, and y'all know what that is, bro. If y'all some BO1 fans in here, beautiful. It was art, but legit, the whole purpose of this zombies was to figure out like why the zombie virus was there and all that stuff. And The crazy thing was they were trying to find like the scientist or whatever who, made the virus or whatever, some stupid crap like that, and they found him or whatever, and it turns out like he ain't even in control of the zombies or whatever. I like some ancient like demons or gods or whatever the hell you want to call them that are like really controlling the zombies, and he's like the main villain, and his name's like Deimos. And he has like a sister who, I think him and his sister was like competing or something, some dumb stuff like that. But the sister was like, let's just screw him over because he wants to be the big bad villain, some stupid crap like that. And I'm just like, what the hell is this, bro? This is rubbish. And that's what it was. It was just absolutely dog shit. It was trash. And yeah, I think you end up beating him or something like that. Honestly, y'all let me know. If whoever played this trash crap, just let me know at this point. Because, like, I got as far as I did. What y'all watching right now is legit the last mission of this zombies. And to this day, I never beat it. I literally just got the video for y'all. I couldn't fathom size, like, who thought this was a good idea, bro. So let's go on ahead and move on to the great zombies, bro. The thing that actually makes zombies great in this game, because if I ever see a zombies campaign that bad again, bro, Call of Duty, y'all might have to just go ahead and move on and do something else with y'all lives, because Jesus Christ, that zombies was terrible. But moving on to great zombies, let's talk about Shadows of Evil, bro. Oh my God, this zombies, they cooked on every single level. Let's talk about like maps. Okay, Shadows of Evil, they had Their Eyes in Drug, they had Grod Crovey, they had Revelations, and I've never really kept up with the zombie story. For me, it's kind of hard too, because like I love zombies, but I'm not like a super big zombies fan like some people out there. But let's talk about how this zombies brought in the gobblegum system. Jesus Christ, it was so good. And then they had the liquid divinium stuff there too. And I think that was there to necessarily make the zombies gobblegum. But like the gobblegum system was so well, because it's almost like, I don't want to necessarily call it a perk, but it was like an extra thing to get you out of like situations, or could be good for your zombies build, when you're playing zombies. Also, speaking of builds, I know I'm kind of moving fast here, guys. You could also have like weapon kits in the zombies. You didn't just start off with I mean, I think you did start off with the pistol, but you could put attachments on your guns and camos on your guns, and when you get them out of the mystery box, you would actually have that stuff, equipped it on your gun. So like, they did so much with the zombies, and it was great. Because then, speaking of like, maps like the Horizon and stuff like that, they had the bows and all that stuff, and of course the Easter eggs was in here, and then they had like some form in Shadows of Evil, if I remember, that you can go into. It was like a little shadow mode, but you had to do stuff in it necessarily and stuff like that. But they cooked with the zombies. Like, this zombies mode was really good. And not even doubting that too, what they did, it might have been like a year or two later after Black Ops 3 or whatever, but for the zombies fans, they was like, hey, let's just say, let's go up the next level. For DLC, they brought in the Zombies Chronicles. And when I tell you something, that the Zombies Chronicles was not just good, the Zombies Chronicles was great, because they brought back old zombie, maps or whatever, and it brought zombies like up, because normally for zombies, per game, you probably getting like what, 3-4 maps, but no, they just like, hey, let's bring in all past Call of Duty zombie games. And for me, from old videos, especially multiplayer, y'all know kind of how I feel about like them bringing back old maps and stuff like that, and it's just it's kind of a headache to me at this point. But what they did here for zombies, I believe, was absolutely beautiful, because we got back Kino classic. Oh my God, when I get to that retrospective review, I got a lot to say about Kino, because that's my fan favorite. They brought back like Ascension and Moon, which, speaking of Moon has like one of the hardest Easter eggs ever, and I've probably got maybe 10% of the way through that boy. But fun map. And then they brought back, to me, one of my most favorite maps, probably the most favorite map in the zombies like franchise. The good well, I wouldn't say Black Ops 6 zombies is bad, but the OG, the great zombies franchise, I'd say it's Origins. I miss Agartha, the robots, putting their feet down to kill you or trying to kill you, but you could actually go into the robots. And then like the staffs, Jesus, the staffs were great. But this zombies had just a lot, and it was enjoyable too. I really enjoyed this zombies. But with that being said, y'all, let's get on to the final thing of this Black Ops 3 review. Let's move on to multiplayer. This multiplayer was so freaking fun. It didn't do really much bad for me. The only thing that I know a lot of people were kind of complaining about were the boots on the ground, because that was starting to be like a big thing. But man, this was like a great time period. Hero shooters were like starting to become like this big thing, or whatever. So we had like the Specialist, and man, were the Specialists fun. We had the Ruin, the Outrider, the Prophet, the Battery, the Seraph, the Nomad, the Reaper, the Spectre, and the Firebreak, all having their own, two specialist abilities, and I think they had like 2 side abilities or something like that. But man, was it fun to play with these specialists. No matter what specialist you had, they always found a way to make the specialist fun. These specialists created some great and funny moments for I'm sure a lot of fans playing Black Ops 3. The one keynote about, the Ruin that I'll say, even though my favorite specialist, by the way, was the Outbreak. I will put that out there right now. I don't know. I just loved him. I loved him. But one thing about the Ruin, though, was Donnie, him smashing his gravity spikes. We always used to make fun of him for it because it's almost like a, yeah! He do something. We just make fun of him for it all the time. But with that being said, with the specialist, you could customize like the body parts and stuff like that, and also you could actually grind to like get like a all gold fit for them, which I thought was very cool for the time. So just you not just worrying about getting your guns dark matter, you could also get their fits like all gold and everything and stuff like that. I thought that was a pretty interesting idea and stuff like that. So that was one way that just like really like made the characters fun. To me, the score streaks were pretty damn good too here in this game. I'll just say like the one thing that I kind of don't like about the score streaks now is they seem like plain and bland. Like I'm not saying like, oh, it's already stuff I've seen before, but like they just kind of keep like the same ones in there and kind of give it a new name. Almost like they're trying to put a fresh coat of paint on something like we've already seen before. But man, this game was good, This was during the era of the fabled loot boxes, but I don't think Call of Duty kind of really did it bad. So, you had in-game, coins that you could earn or whatever. But how they did this is you could earn the coins, do just playing, or they had these things, they had the contract system or whatever, which I think was in earlier Call of Duties anyways. But like, yeah, you could do contracts daily, weekly, something like that, or they had like special contracts that you could do. You could just earn money that way, and I thought that was pretty cool. The loot boxes that you had to get, you got them through the black market, which the black market do pretty cool, and you could earn like camos and all this other fun stuff from the black market. But the one thing that I actually liked about the black market was they didn't try to cheapskate you out of it. You could actually like re-roll and stuff like that if you really wanted to, if you didn't get what you want, or if you got like duplicates. I think they just gave you like money back and stuff like that. So I thought that was always freaking cool. Like, I'm sorry, like they kind of cooked with the loot boxes, at least for this year. But going on to other things in like multiplayer, we had stuff like, I think this was the last game, I believe, that actually had custom emblems. Like, Jesus Christ. I wish we could get custom emblems back today, but I know why they wouldn't bring it back, because there would be terror on the streets, because people just don't care no more. People would be doing anything. It's some wild stuff you will see out there. I'm gonna just leave it at that. They also had the paint shop in this game, which I thought the paint shop was pretty nice, but Through my tenure of me playing this game, I really didn't see many people using like paint shop weapons. So like, it was a cool feature. I just think people didn't really care to use it as much. So, you know, I guns. I'm almost forgetting about guns and maps in this game. Like top guns that I've seen, like the top guns that I would see like the most. I'm never gonna forget the Locust. I'm sorry. All people did was snipe in the game. The Man o' War was kind of good for a little bit. They had like the ICR. Melee weapons was kind of on a rise in this game too. And then like, let's see, DLC weapons, the Marshals, which they kind of got out of control with that. And I almost forgot the Brecci. Jesus Christ, the Brecci. How many people I seen actually using that gun was insane. So like, there's just guns and stuff in this game that I could just remember like off the top of my head. And just, it was some fun moments, and there was some moments that would just really piss me off about this game. Now, moving on to maps. Maps, I really didn't have issues with any of the base game maps like that. Some people might have, but the base game maps really didn't bother me. I thought like maps were like flushed out and pretty nice during this time. You know, spawns were like pretty clean or whatever. Like there was some issues at times. Don't get me wrong. I'm not about to sit here and make it seem like the old Call of Duty just did everything right. No, during its time period, they had their fresh share of problems too. But the one thing that I'll say about the maps is there was one map in the DLC, well, two of them. They had a food map, which I thought that food map was amazing, like great. But there was one map that these motherfuckers tried to have like robots and shit in. And it was Rupture. It was called Rupture. It was like giant, and they tried to have robots in there. And I was like, if you don't ever make a Call of Duty map like that again, Rupture, trash, throw it away. We just gonna forget about that because, Jesus, that is terrible. That map is terrible. But, you know, with this Call of Duty, there was just so many things that they did right that, you know, today's Call of Duty don't do good now. And, you know, you start to wonder things like that, like, you know, is the black market system, could it have, you know, would it be better now? Or do you think like today's Call of Duty with like the store is like good and stuff like that? Because Jesus Christ, that store is crazy. You know, and then there's things like, do you guys still like the battle pass and stuff like that in current Call of Duty, opposed to like, you know, this game BO3, you know, with the loot boxes again and stuff like that. Jesus Christ, there was just so many things that was better. You know, SBMM was like not as bad either in this Call of Duty. In current Call of Duty, my KD is like what, 1.24 or something like that. You know, in this Call of Duty, it was 1.43. Like, I was legit good, bro. But it could be just I'm aging. Maybe my eyes don't work as well as they used to. These new kids, these young bucks, whatever you want to call them, you know, they're just probably better than me. But you know, what I will say before I end off on this video is, for people who didn't enjoy Boots on the Ground, or, you know, the little booster packs that they got for this game, I think that the nostalgia is still there for this game, and that, you know, I wouldn't mind that if Call of Duty was to do another Call of Duty like this, where like booster packs like this. It don't have to be like Advanced Warfare. I know everybody don't like Advanced Warfare, but when we get to that retrospective, which I believe is next, I'm not gonna shit on that game, guys. I actually enjoyed Advanced Warfare. I'm sorry. But, you know, this Call of Duty did a lot of things great. And actually, before I even walk away and leave out this video, almost forgot one more thing. This Call of Duty had free run. They actually showed you how to like move around the movement system, which is crazy. This Call of Duty had a lot to offer. It was great. And they, you know, they did their job with this Call of Duty. So for my final verdict, I am giving this Call of Duty an 8 out of 10. They did their job for this Call of Duty. The only reason why I'm not giving it higher is because the campaign was confusing and it was annoying, and that Zombies campaign just fucking sucked, y'all. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't give them higher points for that. They did not do what they were supposed to do, y'all. But until next time, y'all, peace out.